We got Misha Cirkunov back here on the program. He's going to be taking on a late replacement in Johnny Walker at UFC 235 on March 2nd. Misha, how are you, man?
Good, good. Very good. Thanks for having me again.
No problem. It's good to talk to you, and I understand we're live on location at the PI. How's everything going today?
Yeah, no, very good. Today's actually a little recovery day. Did some recovery stuff, some cold, hot therapies, and, just recovering, just been training hard, obviously, and, yeah, just excited. A lot of work have been done and just, unfortunately changing the opponent, but, been training hard and, kind of like been concentrating on fighting. So, the show must go on. So I'm, fighting March 2nd.
Yeah, exactly. And you've been out in Vegas for a while now. I know the last time we talked, you sort of moved there now. How long have you actually been out there now? Because I remember you moved from Toronto, before your last fight, like I said.
Yeah, well, I've been so like I left last year summertime, and I've been training for my fight against Patrick Cummins, and then after that fight, I went back to Toronto, Canada. Been there for a while, and then and then I came back to Vegas for another training camp kind of thing. So I'm kind of in between, back and forth in between the places, and but just obviously just training is better here. So every time I'm training, I'd like to stay here.
Yeah, it makes more sense. And you have the PI there. You have all the different training partners, which is a bit of a luxury there. Are you getting comfortable there now? Because, going from Toronto to Las Vegas is a bit of a change.
Yeah, no, I am definitely more comfortable. It's a little bit easier on the body as well. It's even though we're 2,000 feet over the sea level here, it takes a little bit time adjusting to dry air in a higher altitude, all that. But once you adjust to that, it's nice because it's warmer, obviously, than especially Toronto, especially this winter. Obviously, it's been super cold there. And but it's really nice, very mild here, nice and warm, just so it's easier on the body. So before you train, it's always, you're always warmed up, you're not shivering, you're always feeling good and stuff. So I like this environment, I like this climate, and it's great.
Yeah, you got a great team over there too at Extreme Couture, and we'll talk about that in a sec. But you referenced your last fight there, Patrick Cummins, another impressive win here. How happy were you with your performance, and how much weight was lifted off your shoulders just getting a win? I think that was your first win since December of 2016.
Yeah, no, it's very nice. It's at the end of the day, I always train hard, and sometimes it's frustrating to to lose. You do everything you can, you train very, very hard, you put everything on the line, and then you lose, and it's a little bit, not even just humbling. It's a little bit almost depressing, right? So I needed to make that change, and I felt that training with better training partners, with other professionals, it elevates you to that new level where you go through good scrambles. You go, sometimes in training I'm in bad positions myself, so I'm learning how to fight out of the bad positions. Because if you're always in good positions and you're always beating everyone up, it's easy. But the real challenge is how well you can adjust and adapt being in the worst situations ever. And I wasn't really exposed to that kind of stuff before, and now I am exposed to that, and I love it. I love the training partners that I have, like Blagoy Ivanov, Roy Nelson, Ronnie Marks, Ziki Willie, just a lot of high-level, world-class caliber athletes that have been doing it for a while, and it feels like it's a good fit, and it basically takes you to next level, and that's where I want to be, and especially fighting in UFC. If you want to fight in UFC, you should consider, doing everything you possibly can, not just training hard, but surround yourself in the best environment you can possibly have.
Yep. No, I like that. Very well said. So I mentioned off the top, you were supposed to fight Ovince St. Preux. Now you're fighting Johnny Walker. When did you actually find out about the switch up? Because that's a pretty big change in opponent, because OSP's got kind of his own style, and Johnny Walker's sort of a get-in-your-face brawler. It's a much different opponent.
Yeah, no, I wish I kind of knew about it a little bit sooner. I only found out about it just pretty much a week, 8 days ago. So kind of like a little bit of a short notice. It would be nice to have a little bit more time to kind of adjust to a guy like Johnny Walker, just because he's very unpredictable. His style is very kind of like all over the place. But having said that, from different areas, he's still very, very dangerous. He's very explosive and predictable. So, but I've been training very hard, and so I was planning on fighting and preparing myself physically, technically, mentally. So I'm in a good place, and I definitely March 2nd there'll be a fight.
Yeah, it's going to be great. How much do you feel like experience will play in this? You guys have similar records, but you fought a lot more in the UFC than he has. Do you feel like that will help you in this matchup?
You know, he fought like top guys. He's been around. I fought some top guys. Like I've been around. It's a good matchup. Our skill sets slightly a little different, but I feel like it's going to be an interesting fight. I feel like we match up really nicely.
Okay. I like that. You talked about your training partners and training camp and everything. I know there's been a couple Canadians down there at Extreme. Sarah Morris is there with Clete Bentley. You got Jeremy Kennedy with Gary Mangat, I know, who was down there. How is it to see a couple of fellow Canucks down there? It must be kind of nice.
Oh no, it's nice. You can just definitely tell there's other hungry Canadians that wanna just get better, elevate themselves to a new level, try out different waters, and it's nice. It just shows that if you want to succeed, you have to sometimes get out away from your comfort zone, and if that means go to a different territory, train with different people, whatever it takes. As long as you're getting better and as long as you improving, that's the name of the game. At the end of the day, we can always, the door is always to come back and all that, but the work must be done, and sometimes you have to get away from your comfort zone.
How's the weight cut going? I mean, you always make weight, but I know in Vegas there's a lot of bad food around there. How are you doing with the cut?
Yeah, no, I'm actually good. I gain a little bit more muscle weight. I've been working with like high level professionals here at UFCPI, Bo Sandoval. The great coaches, the great dietitian is here. So I definitely put up some more kind of like muscles on my frame, and I'm cutting a little bit more than usual. So I'm gonna be a little bit, I would say a little bit stronger than I usually am. That kind of adds more confidence, and just it's good overall. It's great.
How do you see this fight playing out with you and Johnny Walker? I don't see this fight going the distance.
Yeah, no, it's most likely it's gonna be as soon as it starts, you're gonna see fireworks. We're just gonna go at each other. I know he's fast. He likes to move. He likes to go forward. So, and it's gonna be fireworks. There's gonna be. I highly doubt there's gonna be a decision for sure.
Where do you feel like a win over Johnny Walker puts you? Because he's on a roll right now. It seems like he's on the fast track to getting to wherever he needs to get to. And if you beat him, I would imagine you sort of steal some of that momentum. Where do you feel like a win puts you?
I mean, the win will definitely kind of like put me back on a map, and I think that it will kind of like slingshot me to, for the next fight, to a top 10 or even against maybe the top kind of like 5 or 6 kind of guy, uh, just because a lot of eyes are going to be on this fight. So it's very, very important for me to do well in this fight, because this is kind of like one of those fights where the winner of this is gonna basically go right into that higher rankings. That's what I think. So it's very, very important fight.
Would you want a rematch against Volkan Ozdemir? He has a fight against Dominic Reyes, but I'm sure that's a fight you'd like to get back, which is how quickly that fight ended.
Yeah, there's always like that fight. I would always like to fight Volkan again, of course, But there's also like many other different fights and whatever kind of UFC wants, I've been asking for a few different fights and I never get them, so I kind of like I don't expect to get what I ask for anymore. So whatever happens, happens. I just know I have Johnny Walker in front of me, very tough individual, so I just have to deal with him first, and then we'll see what happens from there.
When it comes to booking fights, do you do that yourself or do you have a manager? Because I know you were I know you had a friend of yours sort of managing that stuff. Is that still the case?
No, I kind of like do everything kind of on my own now, and I mean, I do have some people kind of like giving me advices that are, been in the game for a really long time. And but overall, at the end of the day, I make my own decision, and that's how it is like for now.
Anyone that follows you on social media heard the unfortunate news about your wife. My condolences to her. She's battling cancer right now. What's the latest on that for those who don't know? And again, this is a bigger fight than stepping in the octagon.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's unfortunate that it just shows like these days it doesn't matter who you are, how athletic, how well you eat, anyone can get it. And apparently, I was doing a lot of research and reading, and apparently, like more than 50% of Canadians will eventually will have it, which is a crazy number. And I don't think people are as aware of it. I think there should be more awareness and. People should pay attention a little bit more towards the diets and for the foods that they have. But she's doing really well. Like in terms of she's mentally in a good spirit. She's in the beginning is really really difficult because once you hear those kind of news, you're realizing that you not just in a fight, to for competition against another human, but you're in a fight for your life, and it's very scary. It's scary mentally, and so at first it was very nerve wracking, and but ever since she went public, I feel like there's such a strong support from our friends and family and all just people that just like kind of like follow us and like we're like I'm so thankful for those people with amazing positive encouragements and I feel like those people give us so much more kind of energy and power to go and deal through this hard time. Like it's just it's crazy times. It's crazy times. I never thought that something like that can happen to us because we eat so good, so clean, like no smoking. Maybe like one or two drinks throughout the week. Like glass of wine or whatever, and it just shows. Doesn't matter who you are. You can still get it. And yeah, it's just like it's a rough time now, but like they say, tough times don't last, tough people do. So you know, we're getting good encouragement from people, and so it should be good. She's very positive.
I was going to say, how has that changed things for your camp? I'm sure, it puts things in perspective as well that, maybe, fighting's not everything, right? Like you said, you have bigger issues outside of the cage. So does it kind of change your mentality a little bit in camp?
It's a little bit. It just makes you more mature. It just matures you a lot. Where before you just live any, you just other day, other day, and then you realize that um, life is short, if you think about it, and you just try to take the best out of everything and try to always stay positive and don't even pay attention to nothing negative and just concentrate on do good, do well for yourself and for the others. And just really matures you a lot, you start appreciating little things, just spending time with close friends and family and just yeah, it just like definitely wakes you up and shakes you up real hard,
Well, we're all sending our positive vibes to Brittany and hope everything goes well with the treatment and everything like that. And it's certainly going to be watching your fight coming up here on March 2nd. It is UFC 235. Misha, always appreciate you taking the time. Just remind people where they can find you on social media. And if you have any sponsors or shout outs, the floor is yours.
Yeah, no, yeah, thank you very much for the encouragement. And yeah, if somebody wants to follow me, I'm on Instagram a lot. It's at Misha C911. And yeah, I just want to thank all my fans, my fans and supporters and my followers. Really, they are my sponsors. Everything I do is kind of like around them and it's for them. Entertainment, encouragement, all that. I do it for you guys and my training partners, my coaches. Obviously, um, huge thank you for them as well. And yeah, just March 2nd, guys, tune in. A lot of work been done, and just around the corner is going to be fireworks. It's going to be a great fight.